Gregg.
As President Trump makes his way back to Washington, new questions swirling about the Trump campaign and alleged ties to Russia. There's a new report by the Washington Post claiming senior aide and son-in-law to the president, Jared Kushner, discussed a secret back channel of communication with the Kremlin. That conversation reportedly took place with a Russian ambassador at Trump Tower last year. Let's bring in David Bruno and Kisha Hibbon. Both are defense attorneys and former prosecutors. Can we all agree it's not a crime to talk to a Russian? Nor is it a crime to initiate secure communications with a foreign government, including the Russians. Kisha?
While it's not a crime, I agree, Greg. The issue that I see is that why would he propose that it be back-channeled and that it take place in
done all the time?
But in the climate of what they're already being accused of helping Trump win the presidency.
But it happened in December, apparently, before the administration took office, so there wasn't that climate.
Right, but I think that goes to the point of suspicions that people have. So I feel like this needs to be investigated. We don't know enough to say it's a crime, but it needs to be investigated.
He might have wanted better cooperation in the war against terrorists in Syria and get the aid and assistance of the Russians.
I'm just not buying that.
All right, David, back-channel communications are not uncommon, as I mentioned. In fact, many past presidents have done it, notably John F. Kennedy. In fact, it was a back-channel secret communication that diffused the Soviet American-Cuban Missile Crisis.
Yeah, no question. And actually, National Security Advisor H.R. McMaster said a statement today that this wasn't out of the ordinary and that it's done. But if I can, on the timeline of this, because it is actually important that this happened in December, because this was the transition period.
Right.
And in fact, Jared Kushner was designated the point of contact for foreign officials that wanted to get in touch with the president-elect.
Right.
That was within his responsibility. So the fact that he had any communications with the ambassador or any Russian officials is not a problem whatsoever.
All right, but let's flip to something else that has been controversial this week. The law governing the special counsel says he can only investigate crimes, limited jurisdiction, crimes only. Wrongdoing, sorry, crimes only. And when you look at the order appointing him special counsel, it says, quote, investigate any links or coordination between the Russian government and the Trump campaign. That's not a crime. There is no such crime as collusion in a political campaign, only an antitrust law for things like price fixing.
Well, due to the fact that there's already an investigation about the Russians helping President Trump win his presidency, they have to investigate, because if it wasn't for that investigation, this would not have come out.
Let's say there was extensive collaboration between the Trump campaign and the Russians. Show me a statute.
But there may be espionage. We don't know that.
Espionage?
So, yes, because why does
conveying military secrets and national security secrets? They didn't even have it back then.
But we don't know what those conversations entail. We don't know why he needed these conversations to be so secretive. And it just doesn't sit well with me. And it doesn't sit well with a lot of citizens.
Is there anybody in Washington who hasn't had a sit-down conversation with Sergei Kislyak, the Russian ambassador? For goodness sakes, that's his job, isn't it?
Apparently not. Okay, but here's the point in my response to you. First of all, these investigations are secret investigations, and they should be. And it's one of the big concerns that the president has. And these are these leaks. You know, so
those are the crimes.
Yeah, a lot of what we're hearing and the information that we have to use in this analysis are from leaks. So the fact of the matter is, we do not know what the FBI has found in their investigation. We do not know what the Deputy Attorney General has on his desk, and for the reason. So yes, that order may be a little vague, and to your point, we don't know what's in the investigation itself.
The special counsel order also allows Robert Mueller to investigate, quote unquote, any other matters. It's the all-encompassing phrase that basically allows a special counsel to run rampant in limitless directions, which may mean that this will morph into the Trump-Comey conversation and all these allegations of obstruction of justice. If the president says to the FBI director, gee, I hope you can clear Michael Flynn because he's a good guy, that doesn't amount to obstruction of justice, a specific intent crime, does it?
No, it doesn't, but we have to have that separation of powers. There has to be checks and balances. I understand the president has power, but the FBI director needs to act independently as well, because if a crime has taken place, you can't just go by the direction of the president to say, okay, well, I'm going to leave this alone.
Doesn't the president have the constitutional authority not only to hire and fire the FBI director, but to tell him what to investigate and what not to investigate.
He certainly has that authority to have communications, especially if the president himself is not a target. And that's maybe the reason we saw in the letter to Director Comey that you have told me on 3 occasions that I was not a target.
And now you're fired.
Yes, because it's relevant, I guess, because if he's not a target, then it's a communication with the director of the FBI, and I guarantee every other president has had communications with the director on these points.
JFK and LBJ were forever telling J. Edgar Hoover to do this investigation and stop that investigation. It goes all the way back to Thomas Jefferson and the trial of Aaron Burr. All right, thank you. Now I'm getting in the weeds, aren't I? Wow. I don't know where that popped out. David Bruno, Kisha, having great to see you guys.
Thank you.
Greg.
Good to see you, Greg.
Pleasure as always.
Thank you.